first one is this is TG11675546002-1. The other OEM or part number is RV550040 by CNHTC. This is for the small fuel tank gauge. The second one, the longer one for the bigger tank, this is TG11675546002-1. So potentially the same OEM numbers. Here we are featuring fuel gauges. As you all know, there are different types of fuel gauges. There's the manual gauge and the electric gauge. These are for the same vehicle, SITRAK engine. This is for the big tank, and this for the small tank. So this is an electrical fuel system. Fuel system basically work using the floater inside the fuel tank to gauge the level of the fluid, the fuel inside the tank. So this is the floater. This is the floater where as fuel increases in the tank, the floater rises. So basically that's how fuel gauges work. This is an electrical system, so you can see these are the sockets. They also include the inlet pipe for the fuel and the return pipe, the fuel return pipe. For this particular truck, there's an addition of a fuel filtration system here. This is a filter for the fuel in case it has corrosives, or in case the fuel is not perfectly fine. So sometimes storage of fuel might cause bad storage of fuel causes the incurrence of rust particles, etc. in the fuel. So this fuel gauge includes a filtration system of the fuel as it rises. Also, the same gauge is used in sucking of fuel in and out of the tank. So there's also that system of sucking fuel in and out of the tank using the potential inlet pipes and outlet pipes, and this is for the tanks. So this is for the short fuel tank, and this one is for the longer tank. As for this system, this floater is internal. This specific floater here is inside the gauge. So the floating system is inside this hollow aluminium cask. It also includes a filtration system here. This plastic cover is a filtration system, and there's a socket. There's this socket. This is the electrical socket for the fuel gauge. So as the fuel rises in the tank, it sends a signal from the electrical system to the dashboard, where there's a fuel indicator on the dashboard system. So basically that's all for the fuel gauges. There are different types. There are manual gauges used by the old version of trucks. There's these electrical gauges, and they also cover different types depending on how they fit in the tank. It's totally modifiable depending on the size and the circumference of the gauge right here, this circumference. If it fits into the tank perfectly, then the fuel gauge will work. The only difference will incur with the socket system. If the circumference is okay and the sockets they match, then you can modify this to any other truck. But mostly different trucks use different fuel gauges because they make different sizes for their tanks, and that's all.